Republican Civil War time, y'all. Republican Civil War time. So, Ron Filipkowski tweeted, Trump is reportedly making a list of people he endorsed who aren't coming out to quickly support him after his announcement. Boebert was asked about that, quote, I am a huge supporter of Trump, but with that, I love DeSantis. He is America's governor, and he has the same policies. Okay, so I'm sure you guys were following this on Election Day, but basically, it looked for a while like Lauren Boebert was going to lose. Her Democratic opponent was up on her for a very, very long time. And then at the very end, she closed the gap and ended up winning by, less than a percentage point. It may have been less than 1,000 votes that she won by. I'm not 100% sure, but barely hung on. Well, look, for this answer, I just think she's kind of politically naive and she doesn't realize who she's dealing with. Trump is the pettiest man on the planet. And so anything other than like, I love Trump and Ron DeSantis needs to step aside, you're going to get backlash over it. So let me play this for you, and then I'll show you who decided to respond.
Certainly would not turn my back on President Trump. I am a huge supporter of his. But with that, I love Governor Ron DeSantis. He is America's governor, and he has these same policies. I know that his focus right now is governing the state of Florida. But at this time, with 2024 in the far future, I am very much concerned on legislating and being a productive representative for my constituents. Certainly would not turn my back on President Trump.
By the way, what she's saying is true. This idea of like, hey, they have the same policies. Like, I love Trump, but, Ron DeSantis, I'm a fan of him too because they have the same policies. That's actually accurate. And that's what, a lot of people are not talking about that point. DeSantis voted with Trump when he was in Congress 94% of the time. So what she's saying is accurate, but truth is never a defense in right-wing circles. So in comes Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is Dumb and Dumber we're talking about here. And she says, President Trump has endorsed, supported, fundraised, and done rallies for more Republican candidates and got them elected than any leader in U.S. history. They run on his name and his policies, post pics with him, put up ads with him, and beg him for help when they are in trouble. Not only President Trump, but his family and his entire staff support these Republican candidates. The most repulsive thing is when the people find out who they voted for are fake because these Republicans refuse to stand with Trump when they are publicly asked. They refuse to stand with the people by cowering away when asked if they endorse President Trump because everyone needs to remember President Trump received more votes than any Republican presidential candidate in history. The people matter and integrity matters. So, in other words, and by the way, it's not just Lauren Boebert who's taken that line. There's a number of Republicans. A lot of Republicans are saying nothing and just don't want to get involved in Trump versus DeSantis. They're waiting to see the way the winds blow in the long run and then just, hop on whichever bandwagon is the right bandwagon to jump in on. There are others who are doing the I kind of like them both shtick. And then there's only a tiny, tiny number that are like, yeah, I'm all in for President Trump. And that's like the dumbest and craziest people in the country. Even Matt Gaetz was supposed to go to Trump's launch and he didn't go. And he said, the weather's crazy. I won't even be able to make it on time. And then when he looked at the weather, it was like perfectly sunny skies in Florida and a little bit of drizzle in DC where he would fly out of. So he's just lying. He just didn't he sees the trends and he's like, oh, I want to make sure I don't tank my own political career by, hopping on board the sinking ship at the moment. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of very, very few that are just flat out yes, I already endorse President Trump. President Trump is phenomenal. I support him for 2024. And she's looking around and she's going, President Trump looked out for so many of you Republican politicians that here you are not returning the favor when the time comes. It shows you how transactional they think of these things, right? I mean, the fact of the matter is the other Republicans are worried because they see the trend. They see the rise of DeSantis. They see how Trump is at his weakest point ever. That's why they're staying out. But Marjorie Taylor Greene says anything other than pure, undying loyalty is traitorous. Well, be careful what you wish for, because as of right now, it's 90% of even the Republican elites are not saying shit about this. Because they quietly want somebody to overtake Trump, DeSantis or otherwise. So let's go. Inject this right in my veins. I want to see more and more of this. I want to see Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert actively argue about this. Because again, Lauren Boebert, I think she's just politically naive and she doesn't realize that by commenting about Trump, but saying anything positive about DeSantis, he's going to get pissed at you. And so are Trump's closest allies. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is like one of the only ones that remains that is still like 100% pro Team Trump. Everybody else is sort of staying out or just sort of feeling the vibe and adjusting accordingly, or going full Daily Wire, which is pro DeSantis over Trump. We'll see. But I want this to heat up, man. I really do. Because Trump is in the weakest position he's ever been since he became president. And it's fun watching him like desperately trying to cling to the power and like throw around his weight when his weight doesn't have nearly as much sway as it used to. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is just too dumb to sense like the general mood of the country. And so she's still 100% Team Trump. So in a weird way, she's making Lauren Boebert appear like a tactical genius, even though she's also a fucking idiot, you know? Let him fight, man. Let him fight. I can't wait for the battle lines to be even more clear and for them to be at each other's throats. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.